Hello from Dubai. This is the podcast Pigeon of Peace where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description below for the details. Let's talk about self-learning organizations and let's start with the definition.
When you're working in some company, sometimes you'll find that there are no instruction or some documents where you could find how to do some projects or maybe procedures, and you will ask someone. So you will find that information in the company divided in four square. One man know or several people know. It is written or this is just in mind of other people. And if you will continue to work, sometimes you will think, okay, maybe I will write something down. And if you will involve in this cycle as many people as possible, you will create so-called information system, which would help to rookies, to novice, how to do very easy steps. For example, plan of the floor with description, which room dedicated for what. For example, what you should do when you are trying to book room for negotiations. Maybe how to book tickets, how to go to the client, how to write a report about money you have spent. So more and more often you will say, not I will describe or I will explain. You will say, you could find this chapter in this system.
And maybe before we dive deep into the self-learning organizations themselves, probably there is the one thing that we need to maybe cover, or at least, get some sort of opinion. Because if the company is willing to change, if the company is willing to learn, there should be some sort of like a change management. And it also comes with the resistance, with the pushes back and forward, or maybe in a different direction. So what might be the steps for the company to actually overcome all of the flows, or maybe grow, or maybe go to a certain stage so that it will realize that it is ready to be self-learned?
Sometimes changes would be called as revolution, and this revolution could go up, down, or from the top to the down. So you choose. From my opinion, from my experience, much easier to create. You will ask someone, you will collect these documents, then you will organize them and you put all of them together. You will change their name, you will improve versions and so on. And then you will help to other people to send some link to this. But if, for example, you are grown up businessman and you are standing on the top of your company, and sometimes you will say, okay, let's make this all together. You know what will happen? You have just two arms when you are trying to drive a tank, or I don't know how to say tractor. So you has just two layers and nothing more. So if you will start so many projects, some of them will die. So you have no time to run the project about self-learning. So you will find some people, often I call them Strich breakers, this is from German, and they will start to do what you tell them. First, you should create, I know how to say in English, but in Russian, this is nomenclatura. Nomenclature. So then you will say them to build some metrics, for example, document of type of document and people who are responsible for them. And then you will ask people to create this document, and then you will put them in the same directory. But after, for example, 1 year, you could create something like Excel sheet or maybe HTML page where you will put all those links in some maybe tree or maybe in some other form to make people easier to look for. And then for sure you could create also search option.
But there's also might be some sort of like a balance. Let's say I'm an individual, or maybe I'm leading the group, or maybe I'm a part of the group, or I'm like serving specific needs. There also might be own goals. Let's say I want to finish the project, so that I always have to probably evaluate whether down the road I create like a bunch of nice documentation, or I yet finish what I've been assigned to. So how to deal with this balance, especially when you feel like, okay, whether you work for now or you work for the future, whether you achieve results or you just, like achieve creating of the nice documents.
This depends about what perspective you expect. For example, I always create nomenclature of the document for each project I run, even for myself, even in my own business. The reason is because sometimes I will ask people something and then I will get some portion of information. And if I will just put this in my mind, in 2 or 3 years, I would lost this. So I always create pages, new documents, new article, and I put all together. By the way, maybe you will also confirm that I often ask you to write something down and then we print it on side of School of Troubleshooter. So even our school is also a self-learning organization. I think that you like a person who are going on the beach side to trying to find beauty stones and then collect them in some on some shelf. The same you should be making with your documentation. Everything will be very important. I am in business more than 30 years, and I have been working in 6 countries more than 1 year. And all of those documents I have created, and some documents were created by my employees or my colleagues, or they collected with love. And sometimes I have requests from company, for example, who produce milk, or maybe he work with coil, it work with coil, or maybe Moore. Moore, this is turf. Yes, correct? M-O-O-R.
Could be turf as well.
Moore. And sometime I think, yes, several years ago, maybe like 20 or 25, I have been dealing with such an industry. And I just go to the archive and I will look for the document and I will present, and everyone is saying, come on, you have all of this. By the way, the same with phone list. Sometime I have a call from my employees and they ask me, do you remember such a guy? He was working or she were working in such a company on this project. Now we remember her or she or him, and we want to invite to another company. And always I'm say, for sure I will find. I have all phone, and I have all SMS, and I have all messages, and I have all letters, and everything is in archives.
Well, I do believe that having all of this like repositories might be quite prudent and very come very handy. But there is also might be a thing that you actually mentioned, and I just want to touch it slightly deeper. Like, what about the templatizing? Like when you do create a certain project, but then you think, oh, maybe this is, I think you call it like a soap. Like when you make dumplings, you still want to collect something. How you go about templatizing, maintaining the templates, or maybe not only applying it to the documents, but maybe to processes, maybe to the folder structure, maybe to the team structure, or anything else, whatever could be templatized.
It was done when you was working in Singapore, and we were also podcasting from this territory, and you were starting our podcast like "Hello from Singapore" and so on. And when I was on this Maria Bay Sands hotel, which I like a lot, and I have been working for 2 or 3 times in this hotel, they also on the last floor have some special room to eat all this Asian soup, and you could choose which kind of noodle and other stuff you could put in this boiled soup. The same you could create with self-learning database. For example, right now I am trying to create so-called Bookpedia. I know how to say Knigopedia. Bookpedia?
Bookpedia could be.
Bookpedia.
It sounds like a new word.
Okay. We have already created Videopedia with our podcast, and now we'll make Bookpedia. And how I created, I have several books with my recensia.
Reviews.
With my reviews, and they are created as a table with name and author and review and how many pages and time to read and 2 skills which could be applied to this book, and also my mark, оценка.
Rank, mark, grade.
Yes, rank, which I put. And now I create Excel macros with Maxim Mukhtarov, and I take everything in the special table, but the last part will much interesting. And then I put all this mark, and then, for example, Maxim Golubь will ask me, I want to know all the best books about, I don't know, dashboards or process efficiency or maybe business plan, and I would just push one button, and I would create a whole book completely from all these reviews, and they will be sorted from the best to the worst. Or for example, you'll tell me, I want to read just 10 of them, not all, but 10. So I have these books which are already оформлены.
Formatted.
They are formatted as database, and in each book, like 1,000 this review. Then I have this directory, and with directory and some buttons, I could create another kind. For example, you want to create инструкцию.
Instruction for the worker.
Instruction for the worker. And for example, you have like 5 or 10 or 20 types. If you would create them by yourself, you will be very tired. But if you will use my approach, you will create almost 20% of these documents like a template from small part. By the way, in Russian, sometimes we call it like a fish. So not template, but fish, рыба.
Yeah, that's correct. So when you have all of this like a template with all of this job description or anything like this, meaning that there is a repository to be ready to be worked on, there is also maybe some sort of like a resistance, I do believe, from let's say management or whatever, which may not be seeing this way of vision because, well, everyone may have their own agenda. There might be like a different kingdoms within the company, or maybe the view of the manager or the way we perceive might be different. So how to deal with some sort of like a resistance, whether it's explicit or implicit?
Maxim, let's imagine that I'm invite you to run each morning and you want to sleep. And I will say, Maxim, let's go to have 20 rounds. Кругов. 20 rounds?
Rounds? Laps.
20 rounds. Laps. Yes, correct, laps. But you will say, Oleg, there's not a time. Better I will sleep. If I'm lazy person, I will say, okay, I also will stay and I also will sleep in nearest chair. Or I would make another choice and I would run. And after several years, I would be a runner with a lot of medals. Maybe not of them would be gold, but anyway, I would be slim, and Maxim would be maybe a bit fat. So it's a choice. You could never invite people if they do not want to eat, to drink, or to run. The same with self-learning. If they do not want, do not invite them. For example, I have a lot of documents and I have created by myself, not because I was asked or I was paid. This was my decision. And if everyone would see that with help of these documents, you work faster, you work more creative, or maybe this make you more well paid employee, everyone would say, tell me your secret. And you will say, I am with love collecting all the documents and I made templates and all of them are well optimized. So you should show your behavior. So your victories, your success will you will give a hint to everyone to join to your style.
Well, those are great words. And my last question will be how knowing about self-learning organization would help to make this world a better place.
A lot of people ask me how I could learn another people like for 324 skills. This is almost impossible. And I tell to everyone, this is your choice. For example, today I was running like 25 kilometers. And after this, I was reading a book to create review. And now I'm trying on my broken English, make this video with Maxim, who is speaking much better than me. And when I run, I learn to something. When I make review, I learn from somebody. When I talk with you, I'm listening how you pronounce words. So this is the type of thinking when you're trying to improve everything you touch with. So the same with self-learning. For example, if you will go on the road and you will see notary public, or maybe you will see barber shop, or maybe you will see butcher, and you could make photos of those and then put them in special directory. By the way, all small companies in my region, maybe like 500 meters in a round, already I have created all photo gallery of science. And sometimes my wife asked me, do you remember the small shop we buy some flowers, or maybe we buy, I don't know, milk? And I will say, for sure, I know, I have all those signs. And she always asks me, I don't know why you are so strange person. You're always collecting everything. And I'm saying, yes, but sometimes you ask me because you don't know. And I have two choices. First, to call or to go by leg. And second, just to to look to my phone. So this is just a habit to collect information and to organize. You can make it by yourself, by your team, by a company, or maybe with whole industry.
Well, treat yourself as a company, and it will definitely will be get well paid and well rewarded. And we review the skill of self-organized organization and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.